Hello everyone, let's begin our first set of lines for Virgil's Book 10 from the Aeneid, of course, lines 1 to 95, starting with lines 1 to 15. Panditur inter domus omnipotentis Olympi concilium quae vocativum pateratque hominum rexideream in sedem. I'll pause there for us. So, meanwhile, the house of all-powerful Olympus, Panditur, was thrown open. Conciliumque, and Pater Deum, the father of the gods, and Rex Hominum, the king of men, Vocat, called Concilium, a council, in Sideream in sedem, in their starlit home. Terra sunde ardus omnis castraque dardanidum aspectat populusque latinos. Unde, from where, towering, he watches all his lands, and the castra Dardanidum, the Trojan camp, and populus Latinos, the Latin peoples. Consilunt aectis bipatentibus incipit ipse. The gods sat in the hall with the doors at either end, and Jupiter began. Caliculae magni queannam sententia vobis versa retro tantum queanimis certatis iniquis. O great Caliculae, O great sky dwellers, queannam, why have you gone back on your decision? So it's really sententia versa. Why has the decision been gone back on, vobis, by you? So why have you gone back on your decision? And why do you strive tantum so much with animis certatis, with such bitter thoughts? Abnueram bello Italiam concurrere teucris. I had forbidden Italiam, Italy, concurrere, to clash, bello teucris, with the Trojans in war. Quae contra vetitum discordia? Why is there disobedience? Contra vetitum, against my command. Quis metus aut hos arma, sequi ferrumque lacessere suasit. What fear has driven, okay, so take suasit there, has driven out either house out hos, so either the Trojans or the Italians, to sequi, to take up arms, and lacessere ferrum, and draw their swords. Adveniet justum pugnae ne arcesite tempus, cum fere Carthago Romanis archibus olim exitium magnum atque Alpis imitet apertas. The right time for war will come. Do not summon it. When fere Carthago, wild Carthage, will, and we have to go all the way to the next line to imitate, will threaten the exitium magnum, the great destruction of the Roman citadels, the Romanis archibus, of the Roman citadels, and apertas Alpis, and lay open the Alps. Tum certare odiis, tum res rapuisse licebit. Then it will be permitted to strive with hatred, then to have plundered the other side. Nunc simite placitum laeti componite foedus. But now, let it be, and accept the foedus, the treaty, decided upon, and I guess componite laeti, be content. Jupiter haec paucis, ad non Venus aucre contra pauca refert. Jupiter spoke these few words, but then golden Venus responded contra pauca at some length. O pater, o hominum rerum quae terna potestas. O Father, O everlasting power over men and their affairs. So, aeterna potestas, everlasting power, hominum rerumque, over men, so of men and their affairs. Nam quae aliud quid sit quodiam implorare quaeamus. For, how could we appeal, quaeamus, how could we appeal to any other title? So literally, how could we appeal to quod, that quid aliud sit, which could be other? Okay, so for how could we appeal to any other title? Cernis ut insultent rutuli turnusque feratur per medios insignis equis tumidusque secundo Marte ruat. You see how the Rutulians triumph, and Turnus feratur, and Turnus raves wildly, per medios, through the middle of the Trojans, insignis equis, distinguished on horseback, tumidusque secundo, and swollen, with his success, Marte ruat, his martial success, rushing onwards. Non clausa tegunt iam Moenia teucros, the closed fortifications. So clausa Moenia, the closed fortifications, non iam, no longer, tegunt, give protection to the Trojans. Quin intra portas atque ipsis proelia miscent ageribus murorum et inundant sanguine fossae. So quin, indeed, they do battle within the gates, and on the ramparts of their walls, hand to hand, and they flood, so inundant, they flood the fossae trenches sanguine with blood. Aeneas ignarus abest. Aeneas is far away, ignarus, and knows nothing. Numquamne levari, obsidione sines. So, it is, will you never, numquamne, will you never allow obsidione, their siege, levari, to be relieved? Muris iterum iminet hostis nascentis Troiae, nec non exercitus alter. Again, an enemy threatens Muris, the walls. Nascentis, of a new Troy. Nascentis Troiae, of a new Troy. Nec non, and also, exercitus alter, a new army. Atque iterum in teucros aetolis surgit arpis tidides. And arpis from arpi. Aetolian Diomedes rises up against the Trojans, in Teucros against the Trojans, Itrum again. Equidem credo, for my part, I suppose, me vulnera restant et tua progenies mortalia demoror arma. For my part, I suppose, I shall be wounded, and tua progenies, as your daughter, demoror, I delay, mortalia arma, the warring mortals, or the mortals at arms, so the warring mortals. Si sine pacetuat, quae in vito numine Troes Italiam petiere, luant peccata neque los iueris auxilio. So if, start Troes, if the Trojans have come, so petiere, have come, Italiam to Italy, without, so sine, without your approval, and against your heavenly will, luant, let them atone, peccata, for their offences, neque, and do not illos iueris auxilio, do not lend help to them, do not help them. Sintot responsa secuti quae superi manesque dabant, cur nunc tua quisquam vertere iusa potest, aut cur nova condre fata. But if they followed the great number of steins quae which the gods above and the shades below gave. So superi, the gods above, manes, the shades below, dabant, gave. Cur nunc tua quisquam, how can anyone vertere iusa potest, now overturn, so potest and vertere go together, so now overturn iusa, tua, your commands, aut cur nova condere fata, and found a new fate. Quid repetam exustas erucino in littore classes. So quid here is going to be why. So why should I mention again the classes, the fleet, exustas, burned or burned out in littore erucino, on the shore of Eryx. Quid tempestatum regem ventos quae furentes aeolia excitos aut actam nubibus irrim. Why mention again the storms, the king tempestatum of storms, and the ventos furentes, and the raving winds, excitos, roused up, aeolia, in Aeolia, or irim, iris, actam, sent down, nubibus, from the clouds. Nunc etiam manes, haec intemptata manebat sors rerum, movet, et superis immissa repente alecto medias Italum baccata per urbes. Nunc etiam, even now, manes so nunc etiam manes, even now, movet, she stirs up manes, fiends, haec intemptata manebat sors rerum, in this one part of the world that remains, so manebat intemptata, remains untried. Et superis immissa repente alecto medios italam bacata per urbes. And alecto has been immissa, unleashed, repente again, superis, on the gods above, and bacata, raves like a bacchant, per urbes, through the cities, medias Italum, in the middle of Italy. Nil super imperio moveor, I am not moved by thoughts, imperio, of empire. Speravimus ista, I hoped for it. Dum fortuna fuit, I hoped for it, or even we hoped for it, but I guess she's speaking about herself, so I hoped for it. While fortune fuit, remained. Okay, so while there was still fortune, I suppose, while fortune remained. Vincant, quos vincere mavis. May they be, may those whom you prefer, so quos mavis, is whom you prefer, so may those whom you prefer be victorious. So may those whom you prefer to conquer be victorious. Okay, but I think more nicely we just need the victorious one. So may those whom you prefer, quos mavis, whom you prefer, vincant, be victorious. Si nulla est regio teucris quam det tua coniunx dura, per eversae genitor fumantia Troia excidia obtestor, liceat Dimitre ab armis in columem Ascanium, liceat super esse nepotem. Si nulla est regio, if there is no, so nulla regio, region on earth, I suppose, quam tua coniunx dura, which your hard wife debt could give Teucris to the Trojans. Per eversae genitor fumantia Troia excidia obtestor. Obtestor, I beg of you, genitor, O father. Fumantia Troia excidia, by the smoking ruins of wrecked Troy. Liceat Dimitre ab armis. May I be allowed, armis in columem Ascanium, may I be allowed to send Ascanius away. So liceat, may I be allowed, Dimitre, to send away Ascanius, ab armis in columem, safe ab armis from war. Liceat, may nepotem, my grandson, superesse, be allowed to survive. Aeneas sana ignotis iactetor in undis, et quacumque viam dederit fortuna sequatur. So sane here is by all means. Aeneas iactetor, let Aeneas be tossed about, ignotis undis, in the unknown waters. Et quacumque viam dederit fortuna sequatur, and may he, sequatur, follow, quacumque viam, whatever path fortuna dederit, fortune should give him. Hunc tegere et dirae valeam subducere pugnae. May I have the strength to protect, hunc to tegere, hunc to protect this boy, and subducere pugnae, lead him from dirae pugnae, from fearful battle. Est amatus, est celsa mihi paphus, atque cithera indaliaque domus. So domus here is home. So I have my homes in Amathus and Kelsa Paphos, lofty Paphos, atque Cythera, and also Cythera and Idalia, or Dali. Positis inglorius armis exigat hic aevum. So exigat, let him live out his life. Positis, in one of these places. Hic aevum, in one of these places, once he has positis armis, laid aside his arms. Inglorious, without glory. So may he live out his life exigat hic aevum. May he live out his life hic, here, so in one of these places. Inglorious, without glory. Positis armis, once he has laid aside his arms. Magna dicione jubeto Carthago premat Ausoniam. May Magna Carthago, great Carthage, premat, press Ausoniam, against Ausonia, jubeto, by your commands and orders. Nihil urbibus inde obstabit turris. So inde, from there, nihil, nothing, obstabit, will block the Tyrian city. Quid pestem evadere belli iuvit, et argolicos medium fugisse per ignes totque maris vastae, que exhausta pericula terrae, dum latium teucri reciduaque Pergama quaerunt. So quid iuvit, so how does it help? So what benefit was it for him? Evadere pestem belli, to escape the scourge of war. Et fugisse, and to have fled. Argolicos, the or rather medium, fled the middle, per ignes argolicos, of the Argive fires, and exhausta, I guess, is here to have endured, tot, so many pericula, dangers, over vastae terrae, vast land, maris, and sea. Dum teucri, while the Trojans, quaerunt, searched, Latium, for Latium, and recidua Pergama, and a Pergamon rebuilt. Non satius cineres patria insedisse supremos, aquae solum quo Troia fuit, Santhum et simuenta rede, orro, miseri citrumque revolvere casus da pater Iliacos Teucris. So, non satius insedisse, and then would it not have been non satius better insedisse, to have settled cineres supremos, the final ashes, patriae, of the fatherland, solum, on the soil, quo Troia fuit, on which Troy, I guess had existed, so on which Troy had been built, we might say. Santum et simuenta rede, Give them back their xanthus and their simois. Simois, I suppose, is how we might pronounce that. Oro, I beg you. Pater, Father. Da, Iliakos, miseris teucris, grant the wretched Trojans. Revolvere casus, to retrace their misfortunes. Iterum, again. Iliakos, at Troy. So I beg you, Father, grant the wretched Trojans to retrace their misfortunes again at Troy. It brings us to the end of her speech. And in the middle of that line, we start again. Tum regia Juno acta furore gravi. Then regia Juno, royal Juno, acta, driven with a gravi furore, with a heavy rage. Quid me alta silentia cogis rumpere et obductum verbis vulgare dolorem. So again, quid here is why. Why do you, cogis, compel me, rumpere, to break, alta silentia, my deep silence, and to make known my obductum dolorem, my hidden grief, verbis, with words, so out loud. So vulgare is to make known, to make common, I suppose, and to make known obductum dolorem, my hidden grief, verbis, out loud. Enean hominum quisquam divumque subegit, bella sequeat hostem regisse in ferre latino. So, quisquam subegit is where we start this. So, did anyone, and we're in a question here without any question words. So, quisquam, did anyone, hominum, of men, divum, or of gods, so human or divine, subegit, force Aeneas, so note Aenean, Greek accusative, so force Aeneas, sequi, to pursue, bella, a war, so poetic plural, a war, or se inferre, bring himself, hostem, as an enemy, regi latino, to a Latin king. Italiam petit fatis auctoribus esto, Cassandra impulsus ferris. Petit, he sought Italiam, Italy, by fatis auctoribus, by fated authority, so by the fateful authors, or the authors of fate, okay, by fated authority. Esto, fair enough. Cassandra impulsus furris, impulsus, he was driven on, Cassandra furris, by the mad ravings, so furris, by the mad ravings, Cassandra, of Cassandra, so by Cassandra's mad ravings. Num linquere castra hortati sumus, aut vitam committere ventis. Surely, hortati sumus, we did not encourage him to linquere castra, to leave his camp, out, or committere vitam, entrust his life, ventis, to the winds. Num puero sumam belli, num credere muros, terrenamque fidem aut agentes agitare quietas. Surely we did not encourage him, so we continue with hortati sumus here, so surely we did not encourage him to entrust the fortifications and I guess the command of war, sumam belli, the command of war, puero, to a boy, and agitare, to stir up Tyrrhenian loyalty, so terrenam fidem, Tyrrhenian loyalty, or a quietas gentes, or a peaceful people. Okay, so the Tyrrhenians here are the Etruscans. Quis deus infraudum, which god? Quae dura potentia nostra egit. Which god, which hard potentia power nostra, of ours, Agit has driven him in fraudem, into harm. So which god, which hard, so quisteos, which god, quae dura potentia nostra, which hard power of ours, Agit has driven him in fraudem, into harm. Ubi hic uno demisae. Excuse me, sorry, I've gone ahead in the lines reading from the book rather than from the screen. So I'll just recap the ones that I've missed from here. So num puero sumam belli num credere muros, trenem quae fidem outgaintis agitare quietas eit. So surely we didn't encourage him to entrust the fortifications, the muros, the fortifications, sumi belli, and the command of war, puero tuo boy. Terenam quae fidem agitare, and to stir up Tyrrhenian loyalty, so Etruscan loyalty, or gentes quietas, or a peaceful people. Quis Deus, which God, in fraudem quae dura potentia nostra, which hard power of ours, Agit has driven him in fraudem, into harm. Ubi hic uno demisae nubibis iris, where, so ubi where, hic in this action, Juno has Juno been, or, so the way here, the demisa way, the suffix way here gives us the or, so or, iris or iris sent down, demisa sent down, nubibus from the clouds. So his suggestion is that we can't see either Juno or iris acting here. Indignum est Italos Troiam circumdare flammis nascentem et patria turnum consistere terra. So, indignum est, it is wrong that Italians circumdare surround nascentem Troiam, a newborn Troy, flammis, with flames, et, and, for Turnus, to consistere terra, stand his ground, patria, on the soil of his fatherland. Cui pilumnus avus, so cui here is Turnus, so a man whose grandfather, Avus' grandfather, was Pilumnus, cui diva venilia mater, whose mother was diva, the divine, or the goddess, Venilia. Quid facet Troianos atravim ferre latinis? Arva aliena iuga premerat quae avertere praedas. So what about the fact, I suppose, that the Trojans, so this gives us another indirect statement, the Trojans ferre brought so vim here, their force, so brought war, Latinis, to the Latins. Face atra, with literally their black torches, so their smoking torches. Premere, to press, aliena, arwa, another man's field, to press another man's field under their yoke, and avertere praedas, and to carry off its bounty. Quid soceros legere et gremis abducere pactas, pacem orare manu, praefigere pupibus arma? What about the Trojans legere picking and choosing their own soceros, fathers-in-law, and abducere pacta, stealing away brides, gremis, from their laps, or pacem orare manu, or begging pacem for peace, manu, on their hands, so on their hands and knees, praefigere pupibus arma, with weapons, so arma, weapons, praefigere, fixed, pupibus, to the sterns of their ships. So what about the Trojans picking and choosing their fathers-in-law. So quid socros legere. What about the Trojans picking and choosing their fathers-in-law? Et and abducere stealing pactas away brides, cremis from their laps, pacemorare manu, or begging for peace on their hands and knees, praefigere pupibus arma, with weapons fixed on the sterns of their ships. Tu potes anean manibus subducere graium, proque viro nebulam et ventos obtendere in anes, et potes in totidem classem convertere nymphas. So, tu potes, you can subducere, steal Aeneas away, manibus, from the hands, graium, of the Greeks, and obtendere, spread a nebulam cloud, and inanes ventos, and airy winds, pro viro, around the man. Et potes, and you can convertere, turn, in totidem classem, an entire fleet, nymphas, into nymphs. So totidem classem, an entire fleet, in nymphas, into nymphs. Nos aliquid rutulos contra iuvisse nefandum est. So nefandum est, is it wrong? Nos, for us, so for me, iuvisse, to have offered some help, rutulos, to the Rutulians, in the same way. So in the same way, being contra and aliquid working together there. So aliquid in any way, contra in return. Okay, so against what Venus has been doing. So in the same way is a very short way of saying that. Aeneas ignarus abest. Aeneas is far away and knows nothing. Ignarus et absit. May he remain ignorant. Est Paphos Idaliamque tibi sunt alta Cythera. You have Paphos and Idalium and alta Cythera, lofty Cythera. Quid gravidam bellis urbem et cordas spera temptas. Why do you tempt us, meddle, with a urbem city, gravidam, teeming, bellis, with war, and roughened corda, hearts, which we might take to mean Italians, so roughened Italians. Nos ne tibi fluxas Phrygiae res vertere fundo con amor. So, should we try, or do we try vertere, to overturn the fluxas res, the precarious fortunes, Phrygiae, of the Phrygians, fundo, at their foundation, nos, us, an miseros qui Troas accivis objecit. So who was it who objecit through your miseros Troas, your wretched Trojans, accivis, in the path of the Greeks? Quae causa fuit consurgere in arma Europam que asiam quet ferdera solvere furto. What was the reason? So quae causa fuit, what was the reason that Europe, Europam, and Asiam, and Asia, consurgere rose up in arms, and solvere betrayed their ferdera peace treaty, furto, with a theft. So this is referring back to Paris, of course. Meduce Dardanius Spartam expugnavit adulter. So Meduce, was it by my command that the Dardanius Trojan adulterer, expugnavit, attacked Sparta, aut or ego tele dedi foive cupidine bella, or did I give him, so dedi, did I give him tailor weapons, or foive, or, so way here giving us or, for we stir up bella, wars, or war, cupidine, with lust. Tum dequit me tuisse tuis. Then, or that was when, dequit, you should have, or you ought to, have me tuisse, so ought to have feared, tuis, for your people. Nunc seraque relis haud justis ad surgis et in rita iurgia iactas. Nunc, now, ad surgis, you rise up, sera, late, and haud justis, not fairly, querelis, with your complaints, and iactas, you hurl your in rita iurgia, your invalid quarrel. So now you rise up, late or too late, and not fairly, with your complaints, and hurl your invalid quarrel.